Sonic cameos are not a new topic or anything, but it's always cool seeing Sonic and non-Sonic related media. Sonic's importance in the gaming sphere has been cemented for years, decades even. He's become one of gaming's biggest icons, up there with the likes of Mario and Goku, because of the waves that Sonic has made in the gaming industry since all the way back when Sega was still saying it makes sense that other companies want a piece of that sweet blue Sonic curry. And a lot of companies have gotten their piece of that blue Sonic curry from Sega in the form of collaborations, or collabs for short. Whether those collabs are from other Sega IPs or from other companies entirely, Sonic's been in a lot of them. Some of those collabs being very fitting for the character, and others making literally no sense at all, but like it's Sonic and I like Sonic, so I don't really care too much. But today I want to go through the appearance of Sonic within non-Sonic related media. By that I mainly mean media that are not Sonic based, but feature Sonic or other characters from the series. I won't be counting things like posters or plush versions of characters or anything small like that, because if I did that, the video would be like 40 hours long and I would get 2 billion comments about how I missed his 2-pixel poster appearance in some obscure random game like Red Ball 6 or something. I'll only count like significant instances of Sonic, like if a character from the series makes a story appearance, or if a game has an arcade or something that allows you to play an old Sonic game. I also won't be covering everything in this video because there's a lot of Sonic cameos and I don't want to force you to sit here for like 53 minutes. I also don't want to edit all out. So please feel free to let me know about other cameos in the comments below to inform me about them, or to flex on me with your infinite knowledge. I don't know, man. A lot of these cameos will be coming from my memory bank as well as the Sonic Wiki. So shout out to the Sonic Wiki for making my life like 10 times easier. Alright, so let's start with a pretty big one. I want to make this part pretty short because I don't really consider this to be a cameo. Sonic is literally in the title and half of the characters are Sonic characters. It's as much of a Sonic game as it is a Mario game. Though I would consider it a collaboration because like it's literally a collaboration between Sonic and Mario, but the game is like half Sonic based and they're considered part of the Sonic series on the wiki. Anyhow, since I'm already on the topic, I might as well just describe the series a little bit. The Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games series is a series of games that are a collaboration between Nintendo's Super Mario Bros., Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog, and yes, the actual Olympic Games. They appear on a bunch of different Nintendo consoles like the DS, 3DS, Wii, Wii U, and the Switch, to name the ones that I remember. The games are basically just compilations of different sports games based off of the sports that appear in the real life Olympics. The series also has unique versions of those sports to add a bit of variety and wackiness to the games. Instead of just being like a glorified Wii party game, in the games you can play as a bunch of different characters from both the Mario and Sonic series that all have different stats, which can give you an edge in a sport if you're able to pick the right character. The games also feature Miis, which are kind of just like there, but it's nice that your Mii can race against Sonic in an 100-meter dash and somehow win. The games basically just follow the formula for that year's Olympics. Like, for example, how the Olympics in 2020 took place in Tokyo, so the game took place in Tokyo, etc, etc. The series has been on somewhat of a hiatus because, you know, the Olympics happen every 4 years. At the time of making this video, the next game should be about, it should be dropping later this year. Well, anyways, now that I got that out the way, let's move on to something that reflects the ideals of this video more. Before I start this section, I want to mention that the game isn't even out yet at the time of me writing this script and reading this script, so there's not much to talk about, but I'll talk about what I can. The Super Monkey Ball series is a series created by Sega on June 23rd, 2001 for the GameCube. It was a challenging and unique take on the platformer genre because of its extremely tight platforming mixed with its extremely slippery and skillful gameplay. The series now isn't as difficult or skill based as it used to be because the guy who made it decided it would be a good idea to go make the Yakuza series instead and decided to go from looking like this to looking like this. So yeah, I love Yakuza though, so I don't care, it's fine. The most recent entry in this series is Banana Rumble, which is coming out on June 25th, 2024 for the Nintendo Switch. Now with that game not even being out yet, you might be asking, how do I know Sonic makes an appearance? And if you're asking that, you're simply not as locked in as me, bro. Like, what can I say? Just tap in like me. Pretty recently, as in like 2 days ago at the time of me writing the script, they announced the inclusion of Sonic Team into the game as DLC. Not to be confused with Sonic Team, who makes the Sonic games. Those guys are different. The Sonic Team is a group of characters from the Sonic series that they're just adding to Banana Rumble as playable characters. Those characters being Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles. They all have different playstyles and stats, which can make for some nice diversity in gameplay, even though they already have like 12 characters in the game, so I think they got that diversity already. Though the inclusion of Sonic in this game is practically useless in like every way, it's still nice to have him in there because, you know, it's Sonic and that's pretty cool. Or should I say, That's way past cool. Somebody remove my mic. Another big one, but this also kind of shows what I meant by the concept of this video. I want to keep this part relatively short though, because like I don't want to use clips from the movies. Wreck-It Ralph is a movie made by Disney back in 2012. The story is based on Ralph, who's a villain from an arcade game. And it's just basically how he breaks out of the game and becomes a hero in the arcade by stopping the corruption of a different game, which subsequently stopped the removal of that game from the arcade. So it's pretty short and not very detailed, but again, I don't want to keep it too long. And also, I know you've watched the movie. Don't act like you haven't watched the movie. Anyways, in the movie, Sonic and Eggman both make somewhat of a small appearance, with Eggman being in a meeting room with other video game villains, and Sonic appearing on a billboard giving a PSA about how, unlike dying and respawning in your own game, if you die in a game you aren't from, you can't respawn. Like a Sword Art Online, but if it was a Disney movie. Their appearances don't really affect the story because Eggman doesn't do anything, and we're told the same information that Sonic gave us beforehand in the movie. But nonetheless, it's still cool to see Sonic in a Disney movie all the way back in 2012. Considering the fact that he has his own movie now, it's kind of crazy looking back and being like, oh wow, look at him go, man. Okay, so for those who know this last topic, this is probably going to bring back crazy memories. The Sonic series has been featured in a lot of McDonald's ads. So much so that there's literally an entire section of the wiki dedicated specifically to Sonic related McDonald's ads. I won't talk about all of them here because again, there's a lot, but I would not be able to forgive myself if I didn't talk about perhaps the most iconic one, or at least I think it is, I don't know. The 2004 Pakistan Happy Meal ad. I'm going to let the ad play out in its entirety right here because I want you to experience this greatness firsthand if you haven't yet.
McDonald's is Sega gives life. Soccer, Sonic skateboard, Rogue and Emmy tennis, Cream puff flower catch, Shadow basketball, Knuckles baseball. जी भरकर फिर खेलें, खूब हल्ला गुल्ला मचाएं और दोस्तों को भी बतलाएं, चलो चलकर हैप्पी मील खाएं, चलो चले मैकडॉनल्ड्स से Sega games लाएं.
The McDonald's from Pakistan ad might be the funniest Sonic ad ever, at least in my eyes. I remember first seeing the ad when I was a kid in a Chadtronic video, and I was literally crying for days. Like I physically couldn't handle seeing those ads. The ads were essentially just promoting Sonic branded handheld toys that you can get in your Happy Meal, but the reason the ads are so iconic is because of the animations that were made for them. The characters look, man, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. They look horrendous. They look terrible. Granted, the ad was made back in 2004, but there were literally other ads before that looked better, and there's even an American version of that same ad that was also made in 2004 that looked way better than this one. The ad doesn't have much significance to anything other than the fact that it's funny, but like, come on guys, it's funny. There are obviously countless other appearances of Sonic in other media, but I wanted to get a diverse selection of not only games, but movies, and even a TV ad. There are a lot more Sonic appearances out there, and the Sonic Wiki chronicles them all with an extreme amount of detail, so shout out to everyone who worked on and still works on the Sonic Wiki. All of you are actual legends, and I'm sure I speak for everyone when I say that your work is greatly appreciated. Again, please share any Sonic cameos that you know of in the comment section below, because I always enjoy having discussions in the comments with you guys about blue rats and purple cats. I plan to branch into a bit more of Sega in general with some of my later videos, because while I do intend on focusing mainly on Sonic related stuff, it's always nice to talk about other Sega IPs because they got a lot of games and I like a lot of their games. The videos won't like outdo the Sonic ones, but every once in a while I'll talk about something that isn't just Sonic related. Basically just expect a Jet Set Radio video in the future.